Namaste, Vitruvians. Welcome to our flashlight. What is it? Number six? Yeah, episode six of Flashlight. Hi, Mike. How are you?
Hey, how's it going? Good to see you, Nick. Good to
It's
see you. Good to see everybody. Welcome, welcome.
and thank you for those who are joining this at a very odd hour. Probably many people joining us very early in the morning, like 4 or 5 o'clock, or some people very late. So this, I promise you, is gonna be worth that. We have got some amazing news. It's winter most places, it's cold, but this is going to make you hot. And that is the most cheesy line I could come up with. There you go. So, how's it going for you there? Are you still staying safe from the fires and all that?
Yeah, yeah. It's a mess over here. Obviously, the left and right are going crazy, and everybody's trying to point the finger on who to blame, and it's a mess. But it's a serious problem because it's that estimated damage is probably 500 billion at this point, so it's exceeded Katrina
Wow.
in terms of the devastation. A lot of the insurance companies have pulled out of California, so it is a big problem. So it's not just the fires, it's rebuilding. And now conspiracy theories are going around and thinking that it's another Hawaii situation where it's a land grab. I mean, there's just so much craziness that's going on. Trump, is going to be taking office here in a little bit. So it's
Mhm.
just, it's a mess. But our family's safe, and it's, it is what it is. We deal with fires every year on this side, and usually they're not anything like this. Usually they're on top of it, but this was a really, really big disaster, and it's still going on. The winds are going to kick up tonight, so it's hard to say.
Well, I feel
It's not over. I can
for
tell
the
you that
families.
it's not going to be over anytime soon.
Yeah,
So
I feel for all the families who have been devastated by this, and all the people who have been injured or lost their lives. You know.
yeah, a lot of people think that they're all rich people, but they're not. A lot of the houses are inherited,
Mm,
so the rebuild cost alone, they wouldn't be able to afford to rebuild. And California already has a housing shortage, or specifically Los Angeles.
yeah.
So what you're going to see is rents are going to skyrocket because there's not going to be any. You have, maybe 2,000 displaced families that are going to flood the market looking for housing, and so that means rentals are going to be gone. They're going to shoot up in price. Real estate prices are going to go through the roof. Insurance prices are going to go through the roof. So Trump's got his hands full, at least with the state of California, and
Yeah.
so it's not an easy time, I think, for anybody.
Yeah. All right. Well, a lot of people here now. We've got 107 people here and climbing fast. So let's get this flashlight going. We're going to talk about verse. We're going to talk about a film brand, which is very, very exciting. We promised today a reveal, and I'm pleased to say that we will have a reveal. So there we
Mhm.
go. All right. Let's get going. So I think first up, we are gonna kick things off right with that. Mike, you want to do the honors?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we
Let's go.
go.
3, 2, 1, do it. Flicks
Boom.
Fund.
Flix
Yeah.
Fun. That's the name of our new film venture. I hope everyone likes the branding we've developed. We
Mhm.
gave this a lot of consideration, a lot of thought, and we want to be very clear in terms of the identity of this movie vertical. We are not in the business of trying to bring movies on the blockchain. We are trying to innovate and disrupt the funding of movies, and we are trying to bring a little bit of Web3 and programmable money to it. So that's our new brand, Flix Fund. Please let us know in the
Mhm.
comments uh, if you love it. Well, here, Jeff loves it. There we go. Woohoo!
Yep.
Kryptonite says Pam. Pam says love it. Uh, and let's see, great name for the brand, nice and catchy name. All right. So Well, uh, that's only obviously the first part of it. The action really happens when we do something with it, right? And we are pleased to reveal some other things today that, as we've mentioned before, we're gonna share with you some of the early projects we are going to work on, and I'm very pleased to share some of those with you. So, but before we do that, we got to talk a little bit about the kind of stuff that we usually talk about, and which is tokenomics. So, as we are rolling out Verse, as we are rolling out Flix Fund, we are sharing details with you, and where possible, we share them as early as possible as we can. But what we also want to do is make sure that we give ourselves room for adapting, for changing, and for improving. More than anything else, improvements and enhancements are a part of what we would do. So with this tokenomics here, I want to talk a little bit about a very key and very important improvement that I think you will like a lot. So let's go. So with the tokenomics that we had shared before, we had started off with the team and marketing at 20 million units, and we had started off the public the public sale at 25 million units.
Did we lose Nick? He's back.
Sorry about
Are you
that.
back?
I have no idea why, but my StreamYard just said sorry quitting, and it was gone.
Oh, no
So
worries. Yeah, I was like, what happened?
yeah, yeah. Give me one moment, and I'll be able to share my screen again. Um, well, this is interesting. Uh, it won't let me. There we go. Finally. All
Got it
right.
back?
Yeah, it's back. Okay.
There
Sorry
we
about
go.
that. We had community at 5 million units, and that's a total of 50 million units. And as you can imagine, that number greatly impacts what we would consider the per verse annual rev share. It was around, by 2029 we projected around a little over $2, right? So what we want to do is after thinking about how we are going to approach the public sale, etc., we've reconsidered and want to redo this particular tokenomics. And what we want to do, which is to the advantage of everybody, our community, is we want to significantly lower those numbers. So what we are doing is lowering these numbers to the team marketing to 2 million, public investors to 5 million, community to 5 million, and that brings the total to 12 million. How and why are we doing this? Well, we are doing this because we've basically settled on how we want to approach the sale. What we are going to do now that we have the brand Flix Fund, I'm going to refer to that. What we want to do is separate Verse from Flix Fund tokens. So there's Verse tokens are NFTs, which have units and represent revenue share. What Flix Fund tokens will be are essentially uh, ERC20 tokens that will be available to the public and will be tradable on a DEX, at least to start off with, and maybe more later. But what we want is investors to buy those tokens on a launchpad, and then they have a choice with those tokens. They can either trade those tokens on a DEX, or, and this is where the diminished supply of Verse comes into play, they can burn their Flix Fund tokens for Verse. So that makes Flix Fund tokens essentially deflationary. In other words, we'll launch with a fixed supply, but because people are able to buy those, and in order to burn those rather, and in order to acquire Verse, it means that we don't have to allocate upfront a massive supply of units from Verse to allocate to public investors. It simply becomes a question of choice for them. They can choose if they want to opt in into Verse, or they can just trade on the DEX. And this also allows us to essentially have the market in other words, with Flix Fund tokens, respond to our performance as the business grows, as the business gets more successful, etc. So we think that this is significantly advantageous to everybody. And in order to demonstrate this, we've just updated scope as we were talking here. So let's go and check our numbers here. I want to make sure that I refreshed. Yep, we got refreshed. We got the latest version now. Let's go to our verse projector and just look at the default numbers without any changes. And look at this number right here. By virtue of these numbers, the initial numbers going significantly lower, that number, that per verse annual rev share number has jumped from $2.15 in the default state to $5.45. So that's more than double. And that change, as I said, benefits everybody because now investors have a choice on whether they want to participate in the verse revenue or not, or they can just participate and trade tokens. So we think that this is a huge benefit for the community. As I mentioned, we try and bring enhancements and advantages where we can, and this is one of those. Mike, your thoughts?
Yeah. So when we originally ran the numbers, we were coming up with around the $2.50 mark. And when Nick and I discussed the revenue for VCs as well as the pink sale outside of the community, we really wanted to bump up the numbers and without really going unrealistic on, let's say, the blockbuster slider or something like that, where we're just manufacturing fake numbers. That really doesn't help anybody. So we reworked the numbers in order to lower the supply, and that seemed to do the trick. So I'm more than ecstatic with where we are now. I think the numbers are realistic, and yeah, it's exciting, especially with the token launch. I think it's going to be great.
All right. So that's one key change, and it is definitely for the better. And it is one of the news items we wanted to share tonight that is beneficial to the community. And we've got a lot more coming for you. So hold on. Here we go. All right. Next up, what we want to do is reveal, as I said earlier, some of the movie projects that we are going to start working on. And today, what we'd like to share with you is 6 movie projects that we are going to work on. And here we go. Let's get started. The first one, The Cellist. On some of these slides, the IMDb pages are already up. They definitely don't have all the details yet. It's very early. So, but the pages are up and you can check it out. I'm going to momentarily share with you a website link where you can find all these projects. So you don't need to necessarily, screen grab or anything like that as we go here. But this stars Dermot Mulroney, which is great. I was just watching him actually today on Chicago Fire, which is one of my favorite shows. He's taken on the role of Chief on there. So this is one movie, The Cellist. Now, keep in mind, as I go through these movies, to go back to our calculator here, I just want to remind everyone that we are optimizing for moderate success movies. What that means is movies that are not necessarily going to win Oscars, but are going to bring us 3 to 4x in return. That's what we are optimizing for. Yes, we may have a blockbuster here or there, but we can't bank on that. We are trying to optimize on lowering failure and increasing moderate projects. So that's what you're going to see as we go through this. So The Cellist, that's the first movie. Next one up is Broken Chains. So that's inspired by a true story, and it follows John Grim Harlow, a hardened ex-biker consumed by hate and regret. So this looks to be an interesting and exciting movie. Next one is probably one of my favorite ones that we are talking about here, Red Helix. So this is an interesting medical thriller where someone finds a cure for cancer and encrypts it and puts it on the blockchain to prevent its destruction, which is right in line with what we're doing here. So this is very interesting. and I'm looking forward to this movie. If I'm not mistaken, this is based in Singapore. Maybe it's too early to tell, but I'm really excited about this one. Mike, you want to narrate the remaining three?
Sure.
Here we go.
Yeah, so obviously, Anarchy, Sabong Evolution. So they will be working on that animated film, which is really, really cool. And the introduction is a futuristic rooster hero and a team of cybernetic animal warriors fight against a dystopian regime. As rebellion brews, they must overcome powerful enemies to ignite a revolution in a world gripped by chaos, which is super fun. Um, that's going to be cool. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that outside of anime. So it's going to be a really cool rendition. So it'll be cool to see what they come up with on that. Let's go next. Zombie snakes.
Yes,
So
wild.
yeah, this is pretty wild. If you guys remember, I did a who did I send it to? I sent a post the other day, and I think it was Jason that was filling us in on. There's this cult like classic um, kind of low budget films that are hugely profitable, and it was kind of funny because I think it was like a Winnie the Pooh horror film or something
Horror
like that,
movie.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Winnie the
Yeah,
Pooh horror
so the
movie.
the the cost to produce the film was $100,000, and yet it grossed $7 million. That to us is considered a blockbuster because 7 million, as Nick was saying, is not going to win any Oscars, or the studios wouldn't even be interested in that type of revenue. But from an investor standpoint, that is massively successful. That's 70x, somewhere around there. So if we had a whole portfolio of low cost movies that can do in the $2 to $7 million range, that is amazing returns for investors. So we're going to, if you think about it, the film vertical is a pool of films. So we're not investing in any one film, we're investing in pools of films. And these films are, you could kind of classify them into three or four buckets. The first bucket would be, let's say, low budget, high return, but high risk. So these are ones that the cost to produce is relatively low, but it's very easy to ROI if you do get ticket sales on those. But they're higher risk, so the risk of failure or the risk of breaking even is a little bit higher. The middle bucket would be moderate returns. Those are films that are going to be 250,000, 500,000, somewhere around there, and the expected return might be 2 to 5 million, somewhere in there, and then up. And then a blockbuster would be considered anything that is maybe a 50x or something like that, based on cost to produce versus ticket sales, both domestic and global. So we're as we build out the project and the ecosystem, and we build out the team, there obviously will be, an escrow department. There will be, a curating department who is actually someone in charge of classifying these investments so that we're not overly exposed in any one area. So those are some of the developments that we're working on right now on how the actual department is going to work. But it really is, this is not so much a crypto project. This is kind of a Web 2, Web 3 hybrid, where the business model is actually Web 2, but we're using Web 3 architecture. So I'm really interested in this. Whenever I was in blockchain life, in Dubai, when we talked about real world assets, real utility, the big talk was Web 2, Web 3 integration. And that's really going to, what's going to foster adoption and really bring things into a critical mass with crypto. It's not just so much pure crypto, but it's this hybrid of Web 2 and Web 3 merging together. And this project, Flix Fund, really falls within that category, which is really exciting.
All right, and the last one. Hey, more zombie snakes.
Zombie snakes. Yeah, I don't know if this is a sequel or if it's part of the same franchise, but Again, it's probably from the same scriptwriter, the same director. Trapped in a luxury high-rise, partygoers face a nightmare as zombie snakes slither upwards from the basement. With the infecting, spreading survivors must climb the floor, floor by floor to escape before the power becomes their tomb.
You know what
This
this movie
reminded me,
needs?
huh?
Is John McClane. This movie
It
needs John
does.
McClane.
That'd be so awesome.
It's Nakatomi
Yippee-ki-yay.
Plaza.
Yeah, that would be awesome. It always reminds me of, like, remember Snakes on the Plane?
Yeah,
We talked
yeah.
about that earlier, Nick. Um, but yeah, it's like, it's really fun to see some of these projects. The really interesting thing about this movie Vertical, which I'm also really excited about, is whenever we run the projections, whenever we priced out the modeling on this, we actually used historical data. So we did a budget, a cost produce, and global sales range, and we said within this range, what is the expected returns and percentages of some that lose money, break even, and are profitable? And because we're using historical data, movies are very predictable. They're actually, especially when you're dealing with them in bulk. You can get industry standards, and you can develop the ratios, based on historical data, which is actually really exciting, which is very difficult to do with a traditional crypto project. There is no real past performance on a project, but because we're actually piggybacking off an existing business, it's very easy to determine what the averages are in order to determine, what percent lose money, and what percent make money, and what percent, blow it out of the water. So that gives us that helps us mitigate risk whenever we're allocating how the budget is going to be distributed among various projects. The other exciting thing is we're not investing in one film. Most crowdsource funding uh, movie verticals, or that are kind of following this model, they're really fundraising for one movie project, and so they're advertising their movie, this one movie, and then they're trying to raise funds for it. That's the traditional crowdsource money model for the film industry. We're doing something very different in that we're spreading out and mitigating risk by having a pool of funds, a pool of movies, and scaling it from that way. So that way, an investor they're not exposed to the success or failure of one specific movie. We're looking at it as a category. And if you look at business models like, let's say, Lending Club, which is a lending uh, finance company that lends, where you as an investor, as just normal people, can lend money to other people based on certain credit profiles and credit buckets. And they do that through pools. So everybody, contributes. Then they have this massive pool of funds, and then they distribute that. And based on the credit profile or the risk profile of the person borrowing the money, they can then allocate a certain amount to that bucket and a certain amount of this bucket. So we're actually kind of replicating that model with Film Flicks, or Fix Fund, Flix Fund, which
Still
is
new.
yeah, it's still new. Which is, it's so funny, guys. We had probably 50 names that we were working on, and
Yes.
they all sound very similar. So I still have a lot of them in my head. But in any event, the idea, guys, is to diversify across a large amount of films. And it's not just something that's abstract where we just take in any film. There is a criteria that we look at. We look at the director, we look at the screenwriter. And I say we, it's not, me or Nick or anybody. It's an expert that we're bringing on to the team, who's going to be doing the curating. They're the ones that are choosing, working with the production companies that are hand selecting the films. They're looking at the projects, looking at the screenwriter, they're looking at the talent, the actors, they're looking at the production company, and they're looking at how much funding they've already raised, because we're not just going to give money to anybody. They do have to have their own seed capital and a certain level of funds that are already raised before they can solicit from our company. And in doing that, we can allocate. Okay, we have this pool of money. Now let's just allocate a little bit of this on the low budget stuff. Let's go mid range. And then here's what we're going to do on the high budget stuff. The high budget stuff is definitely going to produce more, because that's where you're going to start to see the CBA actors but they definitely cost more. So we can't just go all in on blockbusters because we're only going to be able to do one or two films. So there's a lot of money to be made in the mid-range, even low range, as well as the blockbusters, because studios typically only invest in projects that are typically 150 million and above. If you do some research on this, you'll see that most studios are really in that 150 million dollar range. And the reason why they do that is because of their overhead costs. They have massive companies and massive overhead. So they, if they can 4x, 5x, maybe 6x, 7x, something like that, that is a massive win. And because they only have limited space in the studios and that sort of thing, they can only take on a certain amount of projects. If you kind of Google and you do some research on, United Artists or, Warner Brothers or some of these big studios, you'll notice that they actually don't invest in that many movies. You would think that they just do hundreds of thousands, but they don't. They actually are very, very targeted and very specific. And that's why a lot of the A-list actors are actually struggling right now, is because there's just not enough work that's out there. That's why you're also seeing a lot of strikes in the industry. This opens up a huge opportunity for studios are not interested in $1 million budget for a film, because they would have to allocate so much resources in order to produce that film, and it's just not worth their time. Whereas someone like us can come in and there's a massive market share available for us, and especially because we're not just marketing one film at a time, we're doing it in pools. It's a really innovative solution to a big problem in the industry right now. And that's why this is so exciting, because I'm really, really excited. We're taking traditional banking model, like a lending club, even an insurance company, kind of allocates risk the same way. They charge more for, or the profit is more on higher risk projects, whereas safer projects, they get a modest return, or safer, let's say, drivers or homes that are not in high risk areas, like let's say California. You're not going to pay as much, but over here you're going to pay a lot more. The whole idea is that you mitigate risk, and allocate your money accordingly. So that's the exciting part.
Yeah. So those were the six projects that we would like to bring to market first, and you can see an entire website from our production partner there, creativefilms.com. You can go to the website there, and you can see all the movie things, and there's links there for IMDb to these. So, for example, here we go. This one links you here, tells you more about it. Etc. So these will all be loaded up. All the IMDb pages will be loaded up as we get further. This as a is intended today to be just sort of a tease, for what's going on. But yeah, so all of these movies are going to have information as time progresses here, and we are really, really excited. And one thing I'll note that's very interesting, to me at least, is the fact that here we are, an L1 protocol in Web3, talking. We've been talking about art. We've been showing you art, and we've still got that, and we've got a lot going on about that too today. But we'll report that on Friday. So we talk about art, and now here we go. We're talking about movies. So I just want to point out that Vitruveo is very unique in that, as an L1 protocol, we decided that we are not going to be just a horizontal blockchain that people have to come and build random projects on. We are very focused. We are a vertical ecosystem for creators, and we are the arts and entertainment blockchain. And here we are, living right up to that promise and living up to our mission. So that's so please go to the link. Let me share it again. I should probably have a banner up here. Creativefilms.com/flixfun, and we'll share that in Discord also for you, so you'll have that information. All right, now let's switch gears away from movies and flicks for a moment. This is super exciting. I hope all of you guys like the brand. I hope you like some of the movie picks, etc. There's going to be lots of information we share with you as we develop it. Remember, there's going to be a big AI component to it, where we use it to help select the movie projects, but we are not going to give up on humans yet. So it's not going to be all AI. It's going to be humans plus AI. And I can see from the comments here that people are excited about it. And just remember that not necessarily all movies that are produced these days have to go through the theater, right? They might go directly to streaming. There's a lot of different ways to distribute, and so some movies might end up in the theater, some movies might go straight to streaming platforms, and so on and so forth. And then also remember that as part of this, there is also revenue that comes in from things like merchandising and other things, syndication, etc. So that's all fair game for us. All right, let's switch gears and now go on to what I believe will be the most exciting news for this community. And how are we going to top this? But we are going to top this. Here we go. We're going to talk about Vitro staking. So I know a lot of you have been anxiously waiting, patiently waiting for to hear about Vitro staking, and I'm very pleased to say that we have a solution now, and we want to present it to you, and we hope you'll be happy with it. So let's go. So let's first visit the Vitro token. What is the Vitro token's intent? Well, it is our DEX token. It's the Vitruveo DEX token. And we had committed to rolling out a new staking program this month, and we are sticking by that. We are going to roll out a new staking program this month. What we're going to share with you now is the details. Since there's only 2 weeks left in this month, I'm happy to say that we'll be rolling out a Vitro staking program in the next 2 weeks. So the tenets of this staking program are no APR, which you might think is weird for a staking program, but hold on, it'll become clear about why that's there. And there is a minimum 180-day stake, and that's it. So in terms of the duration, the length of it, anything beyond 6 months is your choice, but the minimum is 180-day stake. So those are the two important characteristics of this staking program. Now let's see how it works. Well, the first thing is everyone who's staked is automatically eligible for 0.25% liquidity provider fee on our DEX. So our DEX fee is actually 0.30%. So we'll hang on to 0.05%, which is nominal, as just to cover some overhead, etc. But a bulk of it goes to the stakers. Now, we're in the process of working through upgrading. We haven't started yet, but we've got some quotes, etc., on and strategizing on what we want to do there. But we're going to upgrade our Pancake Swap from 1.0 to the latest version. In the process, we might, I can't say we are keeping our options open. We might go with Uniswap or we might go with Pancake Swap, but we want to go to the latest version. So this particular benefit will be available once it's upgraded. The next benefit we're introducing today, Launch Drop, sort of like airdrop, but slightly different. What we're going to do is we are going to allocate 2% of the total supply of all the tokens created on our planned launchpad to be launch dropped to the staking contract. So we have the launchpad, any tokens created on it, 2% of the supply automatically goes to the stake contract. Now, each of those tokens will be able to specify a lockup period. So depending on their project needs, they might have a longer lockup period or a shorter lockup period. So any of the wallets where the Vitro stake has been active for at least 30 days is eligible to get a share of those tokens. The formula works like this. 1% is available instantly, and 99% is available after the lockup period. So like I said, the token creator decides on what their lockup period is. It might be 3 months, it might be a week. We don't know. But we want to leave it flexible because different projects have different lockup requirements. Now, tokens that are already live, that have already been launched and will be launched, because it's going to take us some time to build this launchpad, we encourage them to voluntarily launch drop. So we recommend a 2% supply of the supply, but it's not required. So if you have an active token right now, maybe you've used Liftoff or something like that, and want to contribute to this program, we welcome you. We'll just let us know, and we'll will walk you through how you can get this done. But this is a benefit to the whole community, and it's also a benefit to the tokens because it helps with their marketing, it helps with their promotion. You're going to make many members of the community, everyone who's staked, a holder of your token, and it is going to be a huge benefit. And for the Vitro stakers, it's going to be a massive benefit because as new and new tokens come on, you just you don't have to do anything. You just have your Vitro staked, and you get these tokens. Yeah, you got to click a button to claim them, but other than that, there's no action actually required. So that's launch drop that we are very excited to announce here today and promote for Vitro token stakers. So how does this work? I just want to illustrate it a bit visually. So let's say you stake. For the first 30 days, you're not going to get any rewards. All right. This is sort of the cooling off period, if you will, because what we want to do is discourage people from stake, unstake, etc. Because in order to game the system, we don't have that. So for 30 days, you get nothing. But after that, any fees that come in or any launch drop tokens that are dropped into the contract, you're eligible for that. So basically, you have to have an active stake in order for that is at least 30 days old in order to get rewards. That's how that works. So I think that most people would just keep their Vitro staked and leave it in there because it just keeps earning money for you. It earns money in the form of fees, and it earns money in the form of tokens. So right away, whenever there's a token drop, 1% of those launch drops will be available and claimable to your wallet. And then once the lockup period is done, you can claim the rest of the tokens. Now, the number of tokens you're going to be able to claim is entirely dependent on exactly how many people have staked at the time, because you get a pro rata share. So let's look at an example. All right. So let's say you got 1,000 Vitro staked. All right. And along comes, I just use the word Acme token, and they launch drop 1,000,000 tokens. All right. With a lockup of 6 months. So, and the total Vitro staked at the time is 3 million. So what happens is your pro rata share of that 1,000,000 tokens is 333.33 tokens. And instantly you can claim 3.33 tokens. And then after 6 months, as long as you're still staked, if you've unstaked in that time, you won't be able to get that benefit. But after 6 months, you can claim the remaining 99%, which is 329.99 tokens. So no idea what that token is, what its price could be, will it trade, etc. But that's the thing. You're basically diversifying. You'll be able to capture every token that is launched on the Vitruveo launchpad that we'll be building and announcing as very soon. We've planned this for a while now, and we just have to, among all our priorities, put that slide that into where exactly it's going to be. So now that's the staking example. Hopefully everyone loves this model and is excited by it. So I'm very pleased to announce that our first launch drop is going to be Sivo. So earlier this evening, I was in a live with Garfield, and he announced how they are going to start their pink sale, their private pink sale within the next 24 hours, and they're going to launch their public pink sale on the 30th. So very grateful to Garfield, who continues to support our project massively as the first Vitruveo launch drop by contributing 5 million tokens that will be delivered to the initial Vitro staking contract with a 12-month lockup. So that is amazing to hear. So Sivo, for those of you who don't know, is sort of a dual pegged token. It's pegged to Vitruveo rebasing and to Bitcoin price changes. And as was announced earlier today, the private sale price is going to be a penny, so 1 cent, and the public sale is going to be 5 cents. So basically, you multiply 5 cents by 5 million, and that's what Garfield has contributed to the Vitro staking program. So super excited. Thank you so much, Garfield. This is a great benefit, And I encourage and everyone else who has an amazing token on Vitruveo to join our and do a launch drop. And like I said, just reach out to a mod and they'll get the message to us and we can figure out exactly how we'll get it there. We are building out, like I said earlier, the Vitro staking program, and we will have it done in the next couple weeks. All right. So that is amazing, amazing news. And now I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, well, I already swapped and lost, basically, gave up all my tokens for Verse. So what happens to those? Well, if you haven't figured it out yet, everything we do here is very community centric. We think very closely about what will benefit the community the most and try and take actions that do that. And similarly, for this particular thing, I'm very pleased to report that we are going to auto convert all of those swaps into 180-day Vitro stakes. And we are also going to backdate them to 30 days so that you will all be eligible for the Savo launch drop. So this is our thank you to our community. Very exciting. Just repeating here, everyone who's swapped for Verse, their Vitro, will be auto converted into a stake. So eventually you'll get your Vitro back, and you will also be eligible for the Savo launch drop and any other tokens that will be launch dropped in the near future. So this is a huge benefit to our supporters. We are very happy to offer this, and just grateful and thankful to all of you. So yes, next, let's see. But wait, there's more. What? There is more. Yes. Yeah. Let's see what we got for you guys. Garfield and Savo had offered up another 20 million Savo tokens. Yes, you heard that right. That's 20 million multiplied by 0.05. That's 5 cents. Do the math. This is huge. What are the terms? There are some terms. And here is what it is. Garfield has challenged the community. It's a Vitru staking challenge. If the staked Vitru total reaches 20 million by Jan 31, 20 million Savo tokens will be airdropped to the Vitru stake contract. These tokens can be claimed pro rata, not just among people who have staked for Verse, but anybody who staked Vitru. Maybe you staked a month ago, maybe you staked 6 months ago. These 20 million tokens will be everyone who staked will be eligible for them. 1% will be unlocked initially, 49% will be locked for 6 months, and 50% will be locked for 12 months. So over the course of 1 year, you're going to be able to be eligible for this. But it's a challenge. If 20 million is not achieved, 0 Savo tokens will be airdropped. So let's take stock of where we are, right? So let's go to our dashboard here and look at the stats. So we've got a circulating supply of 8.5 million. And let's look at a stake number. We've got 16.6 million staked. So by my math, we have to move approximately 3.4 million of tokens from this bucket to this bucket. It's a community challenge. We either get this benefit for everybody or nobody gets it. But we have to work together to get there. If we are able to do this, not only is there a massive benefit of 20 million Savo tokens waiting for you, but also you have the added benefit that we hit the centralized exchange with a low circulating supply of 5 million coins there, 5 million Vitru. That would be amazing by every metric. This is amazing. So I encourage all of you to figure out how to get this number down. We need to do that. We need to get this number up, get this number down. That's the challenge that Garfield has put. And I hope our community will rise. Our community has always risen to every challenge. and we are excited about that. So wait, there's even more. There's even more. If that's not enough, there's even more. Here we go. We couldn't stand idly by with that challenge that Garfield issued. So here we go. We're going to match. Each one Vitru that's been staked for verse gets one bonus verse if that 20 million goal is achieved. Essentially, what we are saying is if you've staked your Vitru in order to get verse right now, the deal was a 1-to-1 swap, and we are going to make it a double swap. We're going to give you one extra verse for everybody who has staked their Vitru. But you got to make that goal, 20 million goal, which means we have to get the staked Vitru in that bucket there, here, to 20 million. If we are able to do that, then there is a great benefit available to the community. You're essentially doubling your lifetime revenue, because remember, all of you have, if you stake Vitru, you got an eternal verse NFT. You're gonna double up on your revenue. So all you got to do is work through and figure out how we're going to get to that number. It is an amazing benefit, and I look forward to delivering this successfully to all of you. Let's work together. Let's make this happen. I have every belief in our community. I have every faith that we'll be able to do it. We got to do this. We got to make it happen, guys. All right. So that is the next thing. Let's see, what else do we got? Here we go. But wait, there's a little bit more. Mike, this is exciting. Nah, I'm just kidding, guys. That's a lot there. That's all. That's all there was there. So, yeah, this was amazing. All right, just to reiterate, and then we can take on some questions. We've got a challenge here to hit 20 million on our stake tokens, stake Vitru. If we do that, then Sevo, 20 million tokens will be airdropped to the contract for Vitru, will be available over the course of a year. You'll have that, multiply that by 5, which is the starting price, 5 cents, and that's what you get. But if you don't make that goal, 0 Sevo tokens airdropped. We also have double benefit of all your verse is going to be doubled, basically, if we are able to meet that goal. So
And
a
double
very,
the
very
income,
good
Nick.
goal.
So the you're basically getting a 4x from our initial, because we're doubling the income and then we're doubling the supply with the competition. So massive opportunity. Go ahead and rerun the numbers, guys. You'll be blown away. If we as a community can come together in an effort to reduce the supply prior to our sex listing at the end of the month here, we have a very short window in order to capitalize on this, so that we can just blow it out the door upon our sex listing. So this accomplishes so many different things. It incentivizes the community in order to get behind the staking, in order to lower the supply, so that we can really pump out the gate. The other thing it does is drives more revenue to the holders, and incentivize staking and incentivize with the launch drop. So there's so many good things that are coming in. We said that we wanted to incentivize the community and encourage that, just to get behind the success of the blockchain and the success of the central exchange list, and we think that this accomplishes that. So we've got some work cut out for us, but I believe that we can get it done, absolutely. So I'm pumped.
I'm super pumped. I love challenges because challenges mean we've got a goal. We got a goal that we have to work together for. This is a short challenge. It's 2 weeks. 2 weeks, 3.4 million tokens. Let's go. We have to, and the benefits are huge. So we can get some significant benefits to everybody if we can make this happen. So super excited about it. Let's go ahead and take some questions now.
Okay. First question is, those who hold Vitro, can they swap Vitro for Verse and still get the benefit?
Doesn't matter how you do it. Don't do anything illegal, but all the pathways that are available, please use them. Look, we the benefit is there we want to give the community the benefit, right? We plan this so we can give it to you. We are not going to try and find ways to avoid it. So make the goal happen, and you'll get it. In terms of the swap withdraw program, yeah, we're gonna grandfather everybody in. So swap away, still continue to do it. It's just a matter of us getting the stake program in place. When we do that, we will introduce a stake option for Verse also. But it's immaterial whether we get that done or not. You can continue to swap withdraw, no problem. You will be grandfathered in, and you will be eligible for the program that I mentioned, which is right here. Your withdraw swap will be auto converted to 180-day withdraw stake starting 30 days. Basically, once we launch the withdraw stake program, we're gonna pause the withdraw swapping, take everybody's swaps there, auto convert them into stakes, and that's that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
please
bottom
please
line,
don't.
guys, if you have swapped your Vitro for Verse over, since we initiated, we're giving you back the Vitro, and you get to keep the Verse. So, uh, I mean, this is like this is like a massive incentive that we're trying to drive. So we're not only giving you the option to stake your Vitro, but we're eliminating the swap feature temporarily, and then it's a win-win all the way around.
Yeah, it's huge.
If we swap Vitro right now, do we get Verse and the auto convert to
Yes.
stake? Yeah, we just covered that. Okay, given that Vitro will only be staked 180 days and say SIVO is locked a year, will we lose the SIVO reward since the Vitro stake will expire in 6 months, or will it not be considered unstaked?
Yeah, don't look at it from the perspective of SIVO. Look at it from the perspective of any token that's launch dropped. You can only
Mhm.
avail of the 99% if your stake is still active at the time the lock expires. So if you want to unstake before, for SIVO, it's 1 year, right? If you unstake before 1 year, yeah, you will not get the remainder of it. If you unstake after 6 months, you'll get that part, but not the remaining part. Everyone else will get more. Who's still left staking will get more of it. It's basically, there's going to be, you have to think about it, there's going to be hundreds of tokens there, and they'll all have different unlock periods. I believe the best strategy for this is going to be stake your withdraw and forget about it. Just count the LP fees you're getting, count the tokens you're getting, etc. That's going to be the best and ideal strategy. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. One of the funniest comments, what a crummy time to be broke. So that's okay. There's plenty of opportunities to make some money here.
I like Jason's comment here. Amazing flashlight. Yes, I
Yeah.
as we are putting this together, I said, what, this belongs on a Friday. But you know what, people, we have almost 300 people now in different time zones, and I hope this has, for those of you for whom it is an early start, I hope this woke you up. We had some tons of good news here, and I think, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, those creators that are watching, definitely look at your vaults, and there's a massive opportunity in order to participate in Verse and capitalize on some of these incentives, so that you're not just making money off your art. You can actually have the opportunity to participate in some of these other revenue sources. So definitely look at your vault, and if you have any questions, if you're overwhelmed, reach out to Pam. Uh, she can help you with breaking down some of these questions. And if she doesn't have the answers, of course, the team will be there. And we're more than happy to join Mystique on another X Space in order to add clarity to some of these promotions. And because we really do want to have creators have as many revenue streams as possible. And this facilitates that. This is a great tool for that.
Yeah, the needle already moved. So we were at 16.61 and now it's 16.62. It's fine if you even add 10 Vitru. Every little bit will move the needle, right? So don't be shy. Don't think that you need to have massive amounts of Vitru staked. If you got a little change sitting around, go for it. Stake it, because every little bit helps. That's one thing I learned from having run a public fundraiser site for schools. I built an app for walkathons. Every little bit helps. $5 here, a dollar there, etc. All helps. So in this case, we're just asking you to stake Vitru. So go look for that loose change that's in any of your wallets and stake it. Make it happen. And it's very easy, right? It's 1 for 1 on Verse, and if we can get this challenge done, it'll be two. You get two Verse for that one Vitru, which is a significant benefit. If you noticed, as I said earlier, now we are projecting based on our standard numbers here, an annual income of $5.45 per Verse unit, and that's only going to grow. These are very conservative projections, and they'll continue to grow. And remember, your Vitru continues to rebase, so you can have that income also. So it's good all the way around, folks. Just keep the needle moving here. We're going to do very well, and this is going to be beneficial to the whole community. Talk to your friends, talk to everyone in the community. If people are not there in Discord too much, maybe you can chat with them and let them know about the benefit and about the challenge that's there. And once again, Garfield, I think I saw you in the audience. Thank you so much for that amazing challenge, and it motivated us to rise up and give that matching Verse challenge also. So everyone tag Garfield in Discord and thank him, please. So yeah.
Yeah,
All
I think
right.
that covers it for the questions, Nick. Are there any others, guys? Feel free to comment. And if you need some time just to absorb, just reach out to us in Discord and we can help answer any other questions you have.
Yeah, the answer to almost all of these questions is yes. So however you can, however all the modes are available to you. You can bridge, you can swap, you can trade, you can, all of those are available. All we need to do is get that number up. In terms of Vitro, if you've swapped or will swap, I saw a comment there where, oh yeah, Ja said he just swapped 350K Vitro. Don't be shy about that. That Vitro sitting in your wallet is not gonna do a whole lot for you right now. But if you swap it, we will convert it into a stake. It'll make you eligible for that Savo launch drop, and also get you some Verse in the process, right? So there's good things that can happen. Garfield says, if the big bag holders take this challenge, it only means that we will all be in a good position when we get to the centralized exchange. As many of you knows, I love sex. That's great. Yes. Uh, did someone make a zombie snakes coin yet? Ooh, there's an idea right there. We could on our launchpad tokenize every movie just for fun. That would be great. Apricot says, thank you for doing this. Sarvesh says, Xmas in Jan. Yeah, it's the December effect. It's still going on.
Yeah, we got to get working. We have to get working, Nick, on that, on resurrecting Honcho once we get after the central exchange, just
Absolutely.
because now we can tokenize and provide tokens to each of the movies. That way they can have VIP programs, they can have merchandise, they can have all different types of real world assets tied to the movies. So look for some updates on that over the next 60 days.
Yep. All right, we'll wrap up here, but I just want to whiz back through this deck here and recap all the key pieces of information here. So main things: brand reveal, FlixFun, Film Ventures. That's our new name. Really excited. That's our new logo that is directly correlated to our existing brand names. Thanks, Age, and thanks, Mike, for you worked very hard on this. Appreciate this very much. And new tokenomics, we've revised the token allocations, the unit allocations, I should say, for Verse, which makes it hugely more favorable. You've basically got 38 million units less on the denominator, which makes the numerator, which makes the result much higher. So that's great. We have a pathway now for how FlixFun is going to proceed. In the coming weeks, we're going to share with you how exactly we're going to do the public sale and
Mhm.
make that available. But for now, just know that there's definitely going to be a Flix Fund token. It's definitely going to be on a launch pad, and investors will have two options. They'll be able to trade their tokens on the DEX, or they will be able to burn them to acquire verse units. We also shared with you the six movie projects that we're going to take on initially. Keep in mind that this is early. There is a possibility these might change. We might also bring more into the mix. A lot of it depends on how the Flix Fund token sale goes, but we are very bullish about it. You can read more at creativefilms.com/flixfund. Then the next news was about Vitro staking. We announced that there's going to be a launch drop kind of program, and everyone who stakes Vitro will be eligible to get uh, both LP fees and tokens that are launched in our community. We also announced that Sabong has generously donated 5 million tokens as the first launch drop into the into the Vitro staking program. And also, we have announced that every Vitro swap, both current and future, meaning if you're going to swap tomorrow, it'll still be fine. It'll be auto converted to a 180-day Vitro stake the moment that stake program is announced, and you will be eligible for the Sevo launch drop. We also announced a challenge for 20 million Sevo tokens, where if we hit a goal of 20 million staked Vitru, you're eligible for this. We also announced that if we made that goal, then we will double up on the verse units for everybody. So that is a bunch of news for a flashlight, but we are very happy to share this. That's it, folks. Thank you very much. And have a good day, evening, night, morning, wherever you are. And we'll see you again on Friday at 10 a.m. PST for our weekly spotlight. Thank you, Mike. And
All
thanks,
right.
everyone,
Thanks,
for being
Nick.
here.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you on Friday.